Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of Four Comedians and a Hat, the YouTube show where four comedians pull questions out of a hat and we solve the world's problems. I'm your most gracious host, Vincent Opper, the most successful comic to ever come out of Peevely, Missouri. We have three very funny comics with us today. But before we meet the comics, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the button at the bottom right of your screen. If you're not watching on a PC or a Mac, go to our YouTube channel, Gateway Comedy Scene, or you can like us on Facebook by searching Gateway Comedy Scene Friends. And now, thanks to our social media director, my daughter, Violet, you can follow us on Instagram at Four Comedians and a Hat so you can keep up with all of our special shit. Now let's meet the comics. Directly across from me, we have Hillary Anger. Everybody give Hillary a big hand. Hillary is a comic originally from Brooklyn who has made St. Louis her adopted home. Her day job is that she is a trained psychologist and teaches in the business school at Washington University. So automatically the intelligent quotient level of this group has risen today. In addition to teaching and doing research, she can be found at comedy venues around town, including open mics and invited showcases. Once more, give Hillary a hand. Right below Hillary, we have Dewayne White. Dwayne, a big hand. Dwayne is a 23-year Army vet and a DC-based stand-up comedian. Catch him on Clean AF, that's a dirty word, on Facebook, YouTube Live every Friday, and on Winging It on Pandora Podcast. Once more, welcome, Dwayne. And finally, directly below me, we have Cori Stewart. Everybody give Cori a big hand. Cori is a comedian and attorney from the Metro St. Louis area. During the pandemic, she enjoys painting and long walks on her streets. So, I'm not going to make the streetwalker joke. I'm tempted, but I'm not going to do it because I'm a nice guy. Okay, once more, I want to prove we have a real hat. We have real questions in this hat. And I'm just going to pull out the first question at random, and Hillary is going to get us going. Hillary, are you ready for the first question?
Ready.
Okay, Hillary, what's the weirdest thing a guest has done at your house?
Oh.
That you know about?
I know about. Well, gosh, that is such a great question. I think that people have taken liberties with, like, make yourself at home. So actually, one time I let a friend's brother stay over while he was kind of getting his act together for a few days, and then a few days turned into a few weeks. And I was getting married, so this was 23 years ago. I was getting married the next week, and I pointed this out to him, and he said he didn't mind.
What? And he still lives with you?
Yes, 23 years later, no. He's actually a very successful business executive now. He just, I guess, was going through a phase.
Well, hell yeah, he saves on rent.
He's smart. He's brilliant.
Yeah. Dwayne, weirdest thing that any guest has done in your house?
Anyways, I have had a lot of foreigners visit. I think the time that someone drank an entire bottle of Coffee Mate Creamer thinking it was a glass of milk when they didn't really know what it was. That was fun for a long time. For not just that time, and yeah, it was ugly. It's all I'll say. But yeah, I think that might have been it.
You didn't stop this person?
I didn't know really until I would if I had seen it earlier, maybe, but it was just so entertaining. I mean, you can't when you walk in and there's a Kazakh guy just chugging French vanilla. That's America, baby. I mean, that's what it's about. Yeah.
He was thinking, what did they put in these cows? This is delicious.
This is so good. It's so good.
Was it the powdered Coffee Mate Creamer? Or was
no.
Oh
no. He was just chugging the whole bottle of French vanilla, thinking like, this is very sweet. This is too much. Like, yeah, you're gonna have a rough week, you know? Sorry, buddy.
Cori, anything strange?
Well, yeah, I used to have a big house that I entertained in, and I had, I would have people over, and one time I found a lady raiding the liquor cabinet and taking some bottles for a different party she was probably going to later. But that's not the strangest. We had a friend come over and bring their dog one time, and we didn't expect the dog. It was a big dog, a Great Dane, and they weren't great about letting their dog in and out. And so I was helping, and maybe this is more something that I did than what they did. But the tip of the dog's tail got caught in the door when I was closing it after letting the dog out. And so the dog like wagged his tail and sprayed blood all over the side of the house.
You broke the dog's tail?
I broke the dog. I broke the dog. And ultimately the dog had to have some reconstructive surgery on the tail. So maybe this is more about me than it is about them, but
I want
They
to
didn't tell you they were bringing a Great Dane?
yeah, which you think, right? Like
That's a little info I would like to have.
right?
I once had my cat got a what they called tail pull injury. He, I got it turned out my husband stepped on his tail, and instead of being able to move it, he hit over the next few weeks, one vertebra at a time, was back in action, and eventually recovered full tail capabilities.
We have a cat that we adopted. He found us about 1.5 years ago, and he was very malnourished and his tail was mangled. And when we took him to the vet to get him fixed and, you know, up stuff on his shots and everything, they had to amputate his tail. So now he's got a tail about this big, and it's so funny to watch a cat wag their little nubbin, and we affectionately call it his butthole cover. Very cute. So, the weirdest thing that happened to us with a guest is my daughter had a friend come over, and it was like the first or second time she'd ever come over, and Rebecca offered her ramen noodles, and she said, "Oh yeah, I like to put an egg over my ramen noodles." And she just goes and gets a skillet and starts making an egg. Like, me and my wife are like, okay, well, she's making herself at home.
Welcome.
Okay, Dwayne, are you ready for your first question?
Let's do it. Let's go.
This is a comedy-specific joke
Okay.
or question.
Well, let's hope it's a joke. Let's try. Let's try.
What joke do you regret doing on stage?
Oh, geez. So everybody, I'm in DC, and everybody's very, very sensitive out here. And I did a joke about I did a joke about being a theater guy in high school and how it made my dad thought I was gay until I was 23 or 25. And I did it it did not go well. It was it was not good. They turned on me fast, really fast. That joke killed in West Virginia. It was great. They thought it was hilarious. Downtown DC, a little too woke for that whole line of thinking. But yeah, so I think I regret that one probably the most so far.
Ladies, anything?
Yeah, I have. Oh, go ahead, Hillary.
So I once did a bit on eating disorders. So about how anorexia is so simple, right? You just stop eating, but bulimia is actually really complicated. And I went through all the steps. Like first you have to pee, or you're going to pee on yourself, and then you have to wash the basin down, and and it goes through all these steps. At the end, you've got to brush your teeth, and people were like horrified. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "This is funny." I'm saying bulimia is too hard. I can't be a bulimic because it's too many steps.
Too late.
You can come off kind of like a how-to video. Just step one. I like it.
Cori, you've had to have said a joke that you regret.
Oh, many. And not just because of, like nobody laughing, but the one that I really regret is I do a joke about how using your tax return to buy a trampoline is like a long-term investment, because if your kid falls off and gets massive brain trauma, then you have a dependent for life. And I was in Southern Missouri, and I told that joke, and this guy goes, "Hey, I had massive brain trauma." And I was like, well, don't get a trampoline. Don't do it twice. And that was probably the most uncomfortable I've ever felt when I've told a joke.
That's the greatest opening though. Like, I've had massive brain trauma. Like, okay, let's talk then. You should obviously speak in public then. Let's
mean,
get after it.
I have to think that has something to do with his like inability to regulate impulse control. You know, if he can't stop himself from talking.
Did he say it right then, or was there like 10 minutes?
No, it was immediate.
I have a point that I would like to make.
His timing was flawless. Beautiful.
I did a joke. It's a bit, and it ends with Peter Pan being gay. And I'd done it at the shows that we promote, me and my partner, and it's always gotten pretty good response. And in fact, the joke was kind of written from a conversation I had with my daughter, who is trans, and she didn't mind it. So I did it at the Funny Bone competition, and I was rolling for the first 4 minutes, and I knew it. And I'm like, man, I am hot tonight. And as soon as I said Peter Pan is gay, you could have heard a pin drop. And then I finished with the punchline, but nobody heard the punchline because I said Peter Pan is gay. And I actually said, wow, people, that's my closer. If you keep laughing at that. I really thought I was going to be lynched when I left. I was afraid. And when I sat down with the table I was at, and a friend said, wow, you really had him until that Peter Pan's gay. Said, yeah, so
that seems an odd thing for them to get fired up about. Like,
the syndrome named after it. Peter Pan syndrome. It's not.
What is Peter Pan syndrome? They don't teach that in psych.
I think it's just kind of a fear of commitment growing up kind of thing.
I know about 75% of the comics must have that because none of us want to grow up. That's why we do this. So.
Fair.
All right, Cori, are you ready for your first question?
Absolutely. Bring it.
Would you rather be unable to have kids or only be able to conceive quadruplets?
Oh man, you should have asked me this when I was in high school. Probably, I got pregnant when I was in high school. So I think probably not be able to conceive. I am very, very, I love my daughter. I love her very much, but I could not handle 4 of her at the same time.
And let's hope she never watches this.
She doesn't watch anything I do, so it's fine.
Okay.
That would be hell. 4 kids
Yeah,
at
I
the same
think
time?
4 is
4
really
babies?
rough.
No. I would
Even
I mean, each.
Hillary, you're unstable right now.
Hillary's kids got a hold of her internet, so no.
Okay, say that again. I think you're stable now.
I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't think I could have kept quadruplets alive. One at a time was as much as both of our sons, we just said, all right, our goal as parents is to keep this thing alive one more day.
Yeah.
Even like now at 40 with like zero energy, nothing. I can't imagine when my daughter was a baby, a little itsy bitsy infant having the energy and the ability to.
If If you
care
have 4 kids, like I would never have sex again. Like I'd just be like, no, I'm bad. I have bad luck. I'm not doing this. It was crazy. I have 2, and I am 2 years away from being an empty nester, and I cannot wait. I cannot imagine like that. That'd just be. You can always borrow somebody else's kid for a while too. If you can't have one, you know what I mean? They're out. They're be a big brother, be a big sister, but quadruplets, no.
I have 5 with 1 left in the house, and but I have a grandson who's 3, and when I watch my grandson, after about 3 hours, I am like dead. I'm thinking, wow, I had these kids growing up, and let's do stuff and everything, and now it's like they're just draining, when they're that age.
Yes.
Yeah, when you get older, you lose the energy, and there it goes. All right, Hillary, are you stable?
Well, it depends what you mean by that.
Okay.
Loaded question.
I think my internet connection is not so stable. I'm, hanging in there, sometimes by a thread, but hanging in.
Okay. Your next question. What is the most useless talent that you have?
Oh, that one's easy. So I read Sanskrit, the ancient Indian language.
Wow.
That's useless?
It's actually, it has become surprisingly useful in the sense, when I was in college, I did a double major in physics and Sanskrit language. And I thought this was the most useless thing I could do, but I was passionate about it. I enjoyed it. But it turned out actually to be very practical. I would do it all over again for the practicality of it, because whenever you go on a job interview, everyone remembers you. Your resume sticks out because you're the crazy person who did physics and Sanskrit.
Okay.
Wow. What was your major in? Your double major?
Sorry, that's a conversation ender, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I just you froze up, and it was something in Sanskrit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I double majored in physics and Sanskrit, and
Shit, you're smart.
But you can't really do a lot with Sanskrit except basically you can translate people in your Indian friends. You can translate their names. That's kind of as far as I've taken it.
Wow. Cool.
Anybody else have useless talents?
I can flip my eyelids inside out. I mean, I know that's not Sanskrit, but I mean that's like it can gross kids out. That's fun. I enjoy that.
You see it?
Huh?
Can we see it?
Yeah. Shit. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know. That's nice, but I can do that. That's most useless. Yeah. That's useless, right? Yeah, useless. And I learned to juggle in quarantine. So those 2 things combined, I think those are good.
So instead of having all these kids to where you'd never have sex again, you just became a juggler to ensure you'll never have sex again.
I don't do it in public. I don't do it.
No one has sex in public. Oh, you meant juggling. Okay, all right.
If I could juggle and have sex in public, I could put on a show. I'll go to Europe. It's a big thing there. I'm pretty positive. I can make a killing. Flip my eyelids, juggle, and yeah. That's it. It's a triple threat.
Yeah, do that in Salt Lake City. Let's see how that goes. Cori,
I can triple. I can tap dance. I took tap for 10 years, and I can triple loop my tongue.
Wow.
What?
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Useless anatomical weird thing.
Did you just do that though, or did you have to teach yourself how to do it?
I can just do it. It's
you never
nature.
even you never tried. You just did it.
I just did it.
About it.
It's really hard to do 2 loops. Doing 2 loops is impossible, but 3 is.
That's crazy. I can't even fold a t-shirt. That's
You should start a rock band. That's all Gene Simmons needed was a tongue, no talent, just the tongue.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Europe to juggle, bring me along to tap dance and triple loop my tongue.
There you go. Let's do it.
I think it's a thing.
We're gonna be huge in Germany. Amazing.
I'm kind of like Hillary. I have a degree in history and a degree in theology, and the only time I ever use them is in trivia matches. Other than that, yeah. Oh, well, no, like my son called me from college yesterday. Dad, and I'm thinking, it's something serious because he never calls unless it's something serious. He's like, Dad, did Jesus have any siblings?
Did he?
Yes, son. I paid $100,000 to tell you. Yes, he did. So.
Have you heard of Google? I don't know if you've heard of this.
Well, so I told him, I said, what do you need to know for? He said, well, my friend said he didn't. I said, well, you could have Googled that. But I'm sure what he said is, no, wait a minute. This is something my dad actually would have knowledge about. I can use my dad for once in my life for something meaningful to win an argument. So
Good he called you. That's
yeah, it's always, he wants something, the cars broke down. And so I was just kind of thrilled whenever he had a trivia question or a question for that. So I was happy. All right, Dwayne, are you ready for your second question?
Let's do it. I hope it's something more embarrassing than the tongue thing.
Okay. Would you rather live in a cave or live in a tree house?
Oh. Man, you're taking me back to like army days now. I don't know. I think just because I'm a deer hunter, I like the trees. I like being up there. So I would go with a tree house because I could maybe turn it into, some kind of weird tree stand, juggling sex dungeon. I don't know. I used to do that. There's bears in caves too, and I don't want to be around bear. That's scary. So yeah, I would go with a tree house. I think. Yeah, tree house for sure. Get off the ground, have some fun. Yeah, I think so.
The tree houses are very elaborate now.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
They are crazy. Although I guess you could make a cave elaborate. Lighting would be tough, but yeah, they are. There's people like there's whole things. I saw this thing in Belize where like you can go live in a tree house for like a week, and it's like a luxury tree house. I don't know what that means, but like I don't know if people bring you stuff like the Flintstones or whatever. They just like I don't know how that works, but yeah. Treehouse.
Less than 5 miles away from my house in Crystal City, Missouri, there is a cave that they've made into a house. It used to be a roller rink, and they do concerts there. Like Meatloaf was there, and all these guys from the 70s went there. And then someone bought it, and they've actually made a house into it, and it made national news in 2008 because during the housing crisis, they lost their jobs and they had to sell it. And so it was all over the news that a cave was actually for sale. And it was pretty elaborate, but they kind of pulled out and they still own the cave. But yeah, it's pretty neat the way they've got it set up. But yeah.
Sorry, kids, we got to sell the cave.
Yeah. And they did have a
kid. Has gone awry.
How can you be more homeless than living in a cave? Like, where do you go from the cave?
Treehouse. I'm pretty sure. And not a good one. Just like a poncho and just shame. That's it. That's all you have. Oh.
Snakes climb trees. I think I would do the cave.
Oh. Wait, okay. But using that logic, like I'm pretty sure snakes can get in a cave.
They're coming from the cave up the tree.
They're in the cave. Like, yeah, that's right. Not. I think pretty much anything can get in a cave.
But you can control the entryway to a cave a lot easier than you can a tree because you're just in the open.
But a tree house. We're not just like hanging in a tree, like like the kid from like Jungle Book. I mean, you're like in a tree house. If we're gonna be, so I don't know. We're just shooting holes in your logic, Vince. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just telling you my preference. Anybody else have any thoughts about this?
I've always wanted a treehouse. Always. When I start getting dating someone and we start, skirting towards the idea of living together, I say, can you just build me a house in your backyard? And maybe we could put like a line between my treehouse and your window, and we could, you could like shoot me over snacks and such in my treehouse. And usually shortly thereafter, we break up.
I was going to ask how long it lasted after that conversation.
No, I can't actually live with you, but if you build me a treehouse.
And give me snacks. That was
You can send the snacks on a zip line.
shoot me over some
Yeah, that's what
and we can talk.
that's the dream. The dream.
So we once lived in a house with a pool, and we thought our fence was really nice and high, but the across the street neighbors told me at one point, yeah, that treehouse we just built, we can see right into your backyard. What a beautiful landscaping you just did. And I said, what do you see?
Right.
And can your kids see into our backyard?
Wow.
What's the point of having a pool? What's the point of having your own pool in your backyard if you're going to put clothes on?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
I think this just goes to show that my answer was more virtuous, because living in a treehouse would mean you're a pervert. Okay.
Well, we
Dewayne,
can't all
Cori.
have a degree
Okay,
in
there you
theology,
go.
Vincent. I'm sorry. I mean, yeah. I guess if you're going to build a treehouse, it depends. Location is really, I guess, the point there.
I'll tell you this story. I used to manage a pest control company. And one of the things that we would have to do is we would have to clean out gutters to get water away from houses so they wouldn't get termite infestations. So I'm at this house and I'm on this roof and I'm inspecting the gutters because they had water getting in. They had a secondary termite colony. And I look straight down into someone's basement into what I think is a pig moving. That's the first thing I thought is, why do they got a pig in their basement? And I thought, no, that's two people getting intimate. So
It's two pigs.
I did not say that, but
I'll say it. It's fine.
It's what Shakespeare would call the beast with two backs.
Ooh.
it's what Snoop Dogg would call two people slapping it. So yeah, I think it's more virtuous to live in a cave, but hey, you pervs can do what you want, okay, with your life. But all right, Cori, are you ready for the final question of the night?
Yes, bring it. Let's
Absolutely. Drum roll, please. Would you rather never get angry or never be envious?
Don't you get angry because you're envious? Oh, that's tough. I think I don't really get fighting angry with people. So I think usually the way I do it is I just push it down real deep and far, real far down there, and then make myself ill. So I think if I could avoid that, I think that's the way to go. I don't get mad in a way that that has any kind of like healthy outlet. So I think that's the thing that I'd let go of.
Well, Dr. Psychologist, why don't you address that?
I tell you, I enjoy myself a good righteous anger. I savor it. It's delicious. To get angry at something, at the right thing. And so I would get rid of envy for myself, at least, because I don't feel like envy. I don't savor it. It's no fun. Actually, for what it's worth, psychologists argue about which emotions are positive and which emotions are negative. And anger is one where there have been people who've argued it's a positive emotion because people enjoy it.
Dwayne's getting angry down there.
I'm envious. I'm envious of how smart Hillary is right now. Actually, it's I don't know. Yeah, I like being mad. I don't know. Like if I wasn't ever angry, like I would never write jokes. Like I would never. I don't think I would have kids. I don't think I would. Well, okay, maybe that. But like I wouldn't. Yeah, anger's such a good emotion for a comic, especially. Because I never write a joke like, I'm so jealous of so and so. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, and I'm about to tell you about it. You know, and that's, I don't know. So I would keep my anger. I would keep it. It's like that scene from Red Dawn where the kid's like, you got a lot of anger, boys. Like, yeah, it keeps me warm. Like, yeah, it's kind of like that. Kind of how I feel about it.
I don't think anything positive comes from being an envious person. But there is some positivity that comes out of anger. Anger is a great motivator to get things accomplished. The only aspect of anger that I wish I could get rid of is little things bother me because I'm a perfectionist. If there's something small that happens, I will explode. I once sat down with a counselor and he did I guess it was the MMPI test, and he said, you handle anger really well with the big stuff. You can go through that. It's the little stuff that really sets you off. Yeah, you're right. You know, like you knowing so much about me has really set me off, dude. And I felt it, you know?
Like this bullshit test.
That's a long test too, and it was developed in a funny way because they basically took a bazillion questions and correlated each question with different disorders, and some of the questions don't seem at all like they should have to do with anything, but for example, I like sporting magazines, correlated with schizophrenia, so they kept that in.
Okay,
so it's long and weird.
I took the test in 1988, so it's been a while, but two questions I do remember. Question number one, my feces looks funny. Is that still a question on there, and what does it mean?
I don't know, but I don't think it's changed.
Okay.
You know, I'm not an expert on that one particular test. I think that thing is a classic.
See, the second question that stood out was, I like tall blondes. And being my favorite basketball player growing up was Jack Sikma, who was this 6'11" blonde guy. I thought, well, maybe I do like tall blondes.
And a few of the questions are there to figure out if you're just making up shit. Like there's a question that something like, I never tell a lie. And the point is that you're supposed to say that that's not true, because if you say I've never told a lie, then you're lying.
Yeah. Or you can't read real well. One of the two. One of those things. So it was does your feces look weird? That was a real question?
Yeah, my feces looks funny. Yeah.
That's a lot to unpack. You know, what are they trying to judge you on? Is it your feces issue, or is it the fact that you're looking at it? That's a very strange, there's so many things there.
Oh hell, I've got to go there. It was a corny question. There's the 7th grade guy humor coming out. So.
And on that note,
we need to wrap this up. So I do want to thank our guests. Everyone, once more, a big hand for Hillary. Big hand for Dwayne. And a big hand for Cori. We need to get off here and close this down so Cori can go walk the streets. So I give her time to do that. Remember to like us on Facebook. Remember to subscribe to our Gateway Comedy Scene channel and follow us on Instagram. We will see you next week with another episode of 4 Comedians and a Hat.